So the GOP South Carolina debates just wrapped up, and I suffered through the lion's share of it. And I'm going to give you my short take. John Kasich needs to go run with the Democrats. The guy is a big spending liberal, pro amnesty, loony, just goofy. Jeb Bush, I don't think he's got a chance at winning, but I think it was his best debate so far. He took it to Donald Trump. Um, Ted Cruz, no runs, no hits, no errors. He was a solid performer, no huge standouts, and I'll get to that in a minute. Marco Rubio is still, he tried. You could tell he was trying real hard not to act like he did in the New Hampshire debate, which is regurgitate his B-movie actor type lines and just keep talking about the same nonsense. Donald Trump, what a punk, smug, arrogant piece of crap that guy is. You know, the more he talks, the less I like him. I got to tell you that straight up. So, folks, here's a couple things that just jumped out to me, all these pro-amnesty candidates. I'm surprised Ted Cruz has not come out and put a stop to them, and it would be so simple. Because, folks, here it is. John Kasich, amnesty. Jeb Bush, amnesty. Marco Rubio, amnesty. Donald Trump, well, he says he's going to secure the border, but he's using illegal aliens right now to build his hotel in D.C. I'm going to just put him down as a hypocrite. So you've only really got one person that is not backed off of his no amnesty pledge. But why does Ted Cruz not come out and say, look, Marco and Jeb and Kasich, these people, we all agree on securing the border. That's important. We all agree on that. But they want to put in place amnesty. They can call it what they want. They can call it earned citizenship. They can call it what you, but it is rewarding people who have come here illegally. And here's the simple truth. Here's what they will not tell you. And this is what you people need to start demanding. All these amnesty candidates will not tell you how they plan to force future presidents to keep the border secure after they grant amnesty. What does that mean? Well, that's what happened with Ronald Reagan. He signed amnesty in 1986. And for 30 damn years, we've got no border security. We've had 2 Republican presidents, 2 Democrat presidents, Republican and Democrat Congresses. Nobody did anything. And if Ted Cruz, if somebody somehow knows how to get this question to him, I'd like an answer, from all these pro-amnesty candidates. 2, I'm sick and tired of Donald Trump, bashing Jeb Bush because of what George Bush did during the Gulf War. Look, I voted for George Bush. He wasn't the best president we ever had, but I think he was a decent man. And here's the thing. Let me tell you my view on the Iraq invasion, because I'm not going to be one of these just idiots that sits here and, Monday night quarterbacks everything. After the fact, you make the tough decisions after the tough decision's already made, right? So anyway, here's the thing. We had Gulf War I back in the early 90s when Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait. We came in there and we drove Saddam Hussein back to Iraq pretty handily. And what we basically said is, look, we'll declare a ceasefire, not a peace, not a truce, just a ceasefire, and said, look, if you abide to these conditions, you allow our weapons inspectors to come in. We're going to have a no-fly zone that you can't violate. There were a lot of conditions. This is a guy who violated at least 17 UN resolutions, on these WMD inspectors, didn't let him in. He routinely shot missiles at United States warplanes patrolling the no-fly zone. Now, just firing at us one time is justification to go in there and take his ass out. Now, you compound that with 9/11, and you've got a country that's on edge that doesn't have the luxury anymore of Monday night quarterbacking. You have to act decisively. George Bush he actually didn't act decisively. He drug his feet getting into the Gulf War, which was my biggest complaint. But not only did he fire at our planes and violate U.S. resolutions and kick out weapons inspectors, but we also know that his top Air Force general defected to the United States and testified before Congress that he did have WMDs and they were being trucked into Syria. We had satellite imagery of convoys heading from Iraq into Syria. We found, I can't remember the quantities, but sufficient quantities of just yellow cake uranium that could have been converted into a dirty bomb. CIA flew that out. Plus, we know during the 80s we gave him WMDs when Saddam Hussein was fighting the Iranians, who were our enemy at the time. So we knew he had the weapons. Unfortunately, George Bush actually drug his feet too long, and I honestly believe that they were trucked into Syria because we do know that the Syrians have used chemical weapons here as of late. We found mobile weapons labs. It's kind of like this. You walk in and you see flour and butter and chocolate chips and a mixing bowl and a spoon, okay? And you see all these individual pieces. And you say, oh, but there were no cookies. Yes, there were no cookies. The fact is he had everything he needed to make the cookies. He had everything he needed to make the WMD. So I got to tell you, I do not hold George Bush in low regard for going in and kicking Saddam Hussein's ass. It was the right thing to do with 9/11 sitting there, with the UN resolution violations, firing at our warplanes. Kicking out weapons inspectors. We had more than enough justification. And Donald Trump is the most disingenuous pile of crap on planet Earth for trying to pin that on George Bush. What a disgusting, vile piece of shit Donald Trump is. That's right. I guess I can't run for president now because I used a dirty word. That's just horse crap. Let me tell you what else horse crap is. Donald Trump went on Tim Russert and talked about his New York values, being pro-gay marriage, pro-abortion, pro-partial birth abortion, because he said he was born in Manhattan, raised in Manhattan. These were New York values, they're not Iowa values. That was Donald Trump, Donald J. Trump saying those things, okay? And then for him, Ted Cruz just played his own words. And then he's like, wow, I'm going to invoke 9/11. Let me tell you something here, Donnie J. Trump, you scumbag. You know what? 9/11 was an attack on the United States that just so happened to occur in New York City. For you to sit here and try to play like somehow that was just a New York thing, and New Yorkers are so much more resilient than, if that had happened anywhere else. Let me tell you, Don. Let me tell you, Donnie. There are tragedies all around this country. Greensburg, Kansas, there was a tornado. It wiped the entire town out. Gone. Not on the map. When that storm went through, those people came out of their shelters and they went and looked for their neighbors. Same thing in Moore, Oklahoma, where, 24 school children got killed in an elementary school. How scores other, killed and hurt. Those people in Oklahoma, they came out of those storm shelters and they rebuilt. Same in Joplin, Missouri. Same in New Orleans. Same in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. That's an American thing. When something happens to Americans, we all rise. And Donald J. Trump, let me tell you this, something, you smug, arrogant bastard. When we sent troops over to the Middle East to exact vengeance and justice on those people, it wasn't just New Yorkers that went over there. It was sons and daughters from all across the United States that responded to that attack that happened in New York. That was an attack against America. And it doesn't surprise me with your smug, New York, arrogant-ass values. You don't understand that. Well, I'll tell you what a New York value is, Donnie, since you don't know what the hell it is. A New York value is what elected Barack Hussein Obama, Hillary Rodham Clinton, Billy the Communist de Blasio, Chucky Schumer, Anthony Weiner. Okay? This is the same New York type of values that don't trust people to put salt shakers on a dinner table or to go to a 7-Eleven and fill up the size of fountain drink that they want. Donnie, those are New York values. That's what you represent, you prick. So, yeah, that's right. This was supposed to be a kind of a deal on the South Carolina primaries, but I got to tell you, Donald Trump, just listening to him in that debate just made me sick. What a puke. And when they asked him, oh, what was that question about, has he ever done anything wrong? And he goes, yeah, my wife, scolds me all the time. And they said, okay, well, what did she scold you about? Well, I'm not going to admit that I've ever done anything wrong. Donald Trump's never done anything wrong except for the failed Trump vodka, the failed Trump steaks, the failed Donald Trump Steakhouse, the failed Trump Airlines, the failed Trump University, the failed Trump Taj Mahal, no, he never does anything wrong. That's why those businesses failed. He's never done anything wrong, but he was pro-choice his entire life, and now he's had an immaculate conversion. Now he's a Republican or a conservative. By the way, he's flip-flopped parties 5 times, but he's never done anything wrong. He's pro-abortion, now he's pro-life. He's in favor of gun control, now he's anti, now he's pro-Second Amendment. This is a guy who's flip-flopped, but he's never been wrong. He's never had to apologize for anything. This is a guy who said he's never done anything that he had to, repent for. This is a guy who's somehow winning with evangelicals. I mean, this guy is scary. I'm here to tell you, people, Donald Trump is arrogant and he's wrong. I don't care if look, Donald Trump says, oh, well, I'm self-funding. I'm a billionaire, by the way. Did I tell you I'm a billionaire? He's self-funding. And he blames everyone else and says, hey, yeah, see, they got to answer to all these people over here, They take campaign contributions from me. Yeah, they got to listen to all those people. I self-fund. Okay, this is what Donald Trump is telling you if you would open your freaking ears and listen. Donald Trump thinks that only billionaires should be president, okay? That's what he says, because no one else can self-fund except billionaires. So he thinks only billionaires are smart enough to be president. Number 2, because he doesn't take campaign contributions, you don't have to listen to anybody. You know what? I gave campaign contributions to Ted Cruz. Marco Rubio gets them. Jeb Bush gets them. They've got some mega donors. They've got some big backers, but they also have a lot of people that give $5 and $20 and $50. It at least makes me feel somewhat good that my $20 or $25 or $50 goes to a candidate that has to listen to me, the people. Donald Trump doesn't have to listen to we, the people. He just does whatever the hell he wants. And by the way, how about someone ask him about the illegals that he's using to build his hotel in D.C.? They called him on the carpet back in July. Guess what? Nobody's been fired for that. So what do we know? Donald Trump uses illegals because it's cheap and he lines his pockets with all the savings. Meanwhile, he leaves American construction workers out of work on welfare, and then you and I have to pay more taxes so they can get welfare. While Donnie lines his pockets with cash. Nobody's been fired. And of course, Trump was, well, I wasn't aware of that. So Donald Trump has told us he doesn't know what the hell goes on in his own organization. And then when he's made aware of it, he doesn't fire anybody. Which means there's no accountability with Donald Trump. But I don't think Donald Trump's a stupid man. Oh, wow, I didn't know anything about it. Okay, move on, next subject. I got to keep making money off the illegal labor. So, see, Don wants to complain about this Washington establishment, all this crony capitalism, but he's the scumbag greaser. He's the grease in the cogs of that machine. He's part of the machine that keeps it nice and lubricated. He's the money. See, he complains about all these donors to campaigns. He was the guy giving money to campaigns to buy access, to buy influence. He's the lubrication that keeps the dirty machine we're all bitching about going. So if you want to vote for that stupid, evil, corrupt, orange-faced prick, go right ahead. And you know what? I won't. If it's him and Hillary, I'm sitting my ass home because in the end, he's a placeholder. He's a placeholder until the Democrats get it. Same with Marco. Same with any of these amnesty candidates. They're placeholders. And what do I mean by a placeholder? It means that they're going to temporarily hold the office because when they get their wet dream of amnesty, the conservative movement's done. All they've done is guarantee Democrat rule for decades to come. Okay, that's a placeholder. I'm not going to sit here and be like, hey, I was the guy who voted to allow, conservatism to go down the drain. And frankly, the only real difference between these establishment Republicans in the progressive Democrats, I'll tell you what the only difference is. They're just bitching about who gets to drive the bus when it goes over the cliff. Serious. That's it. So South Carolina, I'm telling you, you better get this one right. Someone had better step up and say, enough's enough with this Donald Trump guy. He's going to be the death nail. I'm here to tell you. If you didn't catch wind of that tonight, man, you got blinders on. Can't afford them. So, folks, sorry for the the length of the video, but and let me say this. We lost Justice Scalia today, a true conservative on the court, and he is going to be hard to replace. And God help the United States if the Republican Party does not prevent the president from appointing a liberal. They need to not do any votes for any nominees that Clinton or Obama comes up with. Just God pray for our leadership that they stand firm until hopefully we can at least get a Republican in office and get another conservative on the court. Because if we have a 5-4 liberal court, your Second Amendment rights are going to be gone. They're going to have literally drive-through abortion clinics. Marriage. I mean, we've already got gay marriage, but why stop there? Yeah, I mean, if we want true equality, then there ought not be any standard for marriage. Should have siblings getting married. Why not? Why can two brothers not get married, or a brother and a sister? Why can't they married? Why can't they get married? Why is their love less than a gay person's love? I mean, why? Marriage isn't about procreation anymore. That's what the gays argued up at the Supreme Court. It's not about procreation. So I'll tell you, they've opened the door, the slippery slope. It's going to happen. And having these liberal justices, God help the United States. And I'll tell you, folks, pay attention to this one. I appreciate you watching. Thanks.